Welcome students, this is lecture number 9. Lecture number 8 we discussed about Werner's theory and limitations and valency bond theory with some examples. So valency bond theory satisfactorily explained the magnetic properties and shape of the molecules. So here valency bond theory could not explain the spectrochemical properties. So for example, if you take any coordination compound, that coordination compound exhibits some kind of characteristic color. Copper sulfate is in blue color and COF6 hexafluorocobalt is red in color. It has some kind of characteristic colors. So coordination compounds import some kind of characteristic color. So why the coordination compounds import some kind of characteristic color, it could not explain by valency bond theory. That is the main drawback. And second drawback is he could not explain the strength of the ligands. So strong ligand, weak field ligand, this strength of the ligands could not explained by the valency bond theory. So that is the second main drawback of the valency bond theory. So even though it explained the magnetic properties satisfactorily, so but it could not explain the spectrochemical properties of the coordination compound and it could not explain the strength of the ligand. These two drawbacks can be overcome by crystal field theory. So now we will discuss about crystal field theory. What is crystal field theory? So we are going to discuss now. So crystal field theory was introduced by Bethe. According to that CFT, so there is some electrostatic force present between the ligands and central metal atom. Okay. So here electrostatic force is nothing but ionic bond. So there is purely ionic bond is present between the ligands and central metal atom. So here two types of ligands can be considered. So one is negative ligand, another one is neutral ligand. So that negative ligand is negative point which is bonded with positive charge of the central metal atom, and neutral ligand, it is considered as a dipole point. For example, if you consider NH3, so here nitrogen has more electron negative character, so that electron pair is shifted towards the nitrogen, it has more electron density, so it is called dipole point. This dipole point is attached to the central metal atom. Okay, so it is considered as a purely ionic bond. Now coming to H2O, H2 is neutral ligand. So this dipole point is attached with central metal atom and this bond is considered as a purely ionic bond. So that is the first point of the crystal field theory. And second point of the crystal field theory is the ligands orientate themselves in such a way the repulsive forces should be minimized. Okay, so that is the second point. And the third point, we are going to discuss third point. Crystal field theory mainly considers that repulsive forces between ligands and electrons in the central metal atom. According to that repulsion forces, that degenerate orbitals like d orbitals is split into two set of orbitals. Okay, so previous class we discussed that central metal atom has some kind of d orbitals. The d orbital containing some kind of electrons, it may be unpaired of electrons or paired of electrons. Okay, so the d orbitals has 5 set of orbitals, that is dxy, dyz, dzx and dx square y square and dz square. So this is 5 degenerate orbitals. So these 5 degenerate orbitals has same kind of energy, and if one electron is present in a 1 d orbital, it can be exchanged its position. Okay, when d orbitals interactions with the ligand, there is some repulsive forces present between them. Okay, so the ligand has lone pair of electrons and the d orbital has some kind of electrons. So the interactions between ligands and electrons may be repulsive. Due to that repulsive forces, the d orbitals further divide into two set of orbitals. So one is T2z orbitals, another one is EZ orbitals, and here T2z orbitals we are calling as a threefold orbitals, that is dxy, dyz and dzx. And in case of easy orbitals, it is further classified into dx square, y square and dz square. So here easy orbitals, if you consider easy orbital, the orbitals lies on the axis, and T2g orbitals, that orbitals lies between the axis. Okay, so that is T2g orbitals and easy orbitals. When ligands approach to the d orbitals, so the d orbitals containing some kind of electrons, so there is some repulsive forces. Due to that repulsive forces, the d orbitals again divide into two set of orbitals, so that is EZ and T2g orbitals, and the splitting of the d orbitals is called as a crystal field splitting. The extent of the crystal field splitting mainly depending on the coordination number and structure of the molecule. So structure in the sense geometry of the molecule. It may be octahedral complex or it may be square planar complex. Okay. Let us discuss that crystal field splitting in octahedral complex. In case of octahedral complex, the ligands approach on the axis. So the d orbitals which lies on the axis, it has more repulsive. So due to that more repulsive force, so it has more energy. It gets more energy. So and in the case of dxy, dyz, dzx, it lies between the axis. When it lies between the axis, it has lower energy comparatively dx square, y square and dz square. Okay. So here the 5 set of d orbitals, it is degenerate orbitals. When the ligands approach in certain distance, the energy of the 5d orbitals is increases. So the energy of the 5d orbitals is increases. And further, when ligands approach to the d orbitals, so again it splits into two set of orbitals. So one is easy orbital, another one is T2g orbital. Okay, so this easy orbital has more energy, due to that more repulsive forces, and T2g orbital has less energy. And this is, let us consider this is average energy. So the crystal field splitting or the splitting of the d orbitals is occurred in such a way the average energy should not be disturbed. Okay, let us say before that splitting the average energy x kilocalories, and after that splitting also the average energy must be x kilocalories. Okay, so that is a crystal field splitting. When ligands approach to the d orbitals, so the d orbitals containing some kind of electrons, so there is some repulsive forces. Due to that repulsive forces, the d orbitals again divide into two set of orbitals, so that is EZ and T2g orbitals, and the splitting of the d orbitals is called as a crystal field splitting. The extent of the crystal field splitting mainly depending on the coordination number and structure of the molecule. So structure in the sense geometry of the molecule. It may be octahedral complex or it may be square planar complex. Okay. Let us discuss that crystal field splitting in octahedral complex. In case of octahedral complex, the ligands approach on the axis. So the d orbitals which lies on the axis, it has more repulsive.
That is the reason behind that EG orbitals has more energy and T2G orbitals has less energy.
The energy difference between EZ and T2G is considered as a 10 dq. 10 dq. So what is 10 dq? dq is the one kind of unit. And we consider this T2G orbitals and EZ orbitals. The T2G orbitals value is, the T2G orbitals energy is decreasing by the value of minus 2 by 5 delta naught, and the EZ orbitals energy is increasing by the value of 3 by 5 delta naught. Here delta naught is crystal field splitting in the octahedral complex. Okay, so when ligand approach to the d orbitals in the octahedral complex, the EZ orbitals energy is increasing. So the EZ orbitals energy is increasing by the value of 3 by 5, and the energy of the T2G is decreasing by the value of minus 2 by 5. Okay. Electrochemical series we'll discuss now. For any given metal cation, the splitting value or the magnitude of the crystal field splitting is mainly depending on the nature of the ligands. Okay. The ligands greater the approach to the metal central metal atom, it has more crystal field splitting. Okay. Depending on the crystal field splitting, the ligands are arranged in the order. This order is called as a spectrochemical series. Now CO has more crystal field splitting, is considered as a strong ligand, and after that cyanide is considered as a strong ligand, and after that NO2 minus, and after that pyridine. So like that, the strength of the ligand can be considered.
Magnitude of the crystal field splitting.
Magnitude of the splitting is also mainly depending on the not only nature of the ligand but also some kind of factors. So we'll discuss one by one. First one is position of the central metal atom. For example, if you take Ni plus 2 and Pd plus 2 and platinum plus 2, in case of nickel plus 2 and platinum plus 2, so here nickel atomic size is less than the platinum atomic size. So atomic size of the central metal atom is also one of the factors affecting on the crystal field splitting. So here platinum has more atomic size. Due to that more atomic size, it has more crystal field splitting. Okay, that is the first factor. So the size of the central metal atom is also matter in the case of crystal field splitting in the coordination compounds. And next one is, so oxidation state of the central metal atom. If you take CO plus 2 and CO plus 3, so here CO plus 3 has more crystal field splitting. Okay, so the oxidation state is also considered in the case of crystal field splitting. And next one is geometry. For example, if you take octahedral complex and tetrahedral complex, the crystal field splitting is more in the case of octahedral geometry. So these are all some factors affecting on the crystal field splitting. Okay. We will discuss about distribution of electrons in a octahedral complex. So the octahedral complex, the d orbitals is splits into Ez orbitals and T2z orbitals, and Ez 2 d orbitals are present and T2z 3 d orbitals are present. Take 5 electrons. So these 5 electrons assumed to fill in this given d orbitals in octahedral complex in presence of weak field ligand. In case of weak field ligand, the CFSE value is less. The CFSE value between this Ez and T2z is less, and then so the electrons must be filled accordingly. Hund's principle. That Hund's principle states that the electron will be paired up after only the each orbital will be get accommodate one electron. And next one, here these 5 electrons must be filled. So 1, 1 and 1 and 1, 1. So this is in the case of weak field ligand. So if you take in case of strong field ligand, Ez and T2z, same 5, when you fill the electrons in presence of strong field ligand in octahedral complex, so now, so delta O CFSE value or crystal field splitting energy value is increases. So when crystal field splitting energy values increases, the electron will be paired up 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The electron will be paired up like that. Okay. So this is in the case of strong field ligand. So this is in case of weak field ligand. Okay. So weak field ligand, that Hund's rule must be followed. In the strong field ligand, the electrons is filled against of Hund's rule. Okay. Now let us check the crystal field stabilizing energy value, CFSE value. So how can we calculate the CFSE value in given weak field ligand or strong field ligand? So now we'll check that. The CFSE value can be represented as a minus 0.4 delta naught plus 0.6 delta naught. So in case of T2z orbitals, the electrons is filled, the electrons energy is decreasing by the value of minus 0.4 delta naught, and in case of Ez, the electron energies increases by the value of 0.6 delta naught. Okay, so that the CFSE value can be considered as a minus 0.4 delta naught into x. X is considered as number of electrons, plus 0.6 delta naught 0.6 delta naught y. So y is considered the number of electrons in the EZ orbitals. Okay, let us check in the weak field ligand. In case of octahedral complex, in presence of weak field ligand, let us take 5 electrons. So now here T2G orbitals, 3 electrons are present, minus 3 into 0.4, and here the energy of these EZ orbitals is 2 into 0.6. Now, so the CFSE value is, so minus 1.2 plus 1.2, the CFSE value is become 0. So that is in case of weak field ligand. Now in case of strong field ligand, the electron will be paired up in the T2Z because the CFSE value is high. Okay, so now let us take, so how many number of electrons is there? 4 electrons, minus 0.4 into 4. Here there is no electrons, plus 0.6 into 0. So now, so the energy, the CFSE value in the case of strong field ligand, the value is minus 1.6. Okay, so like that the values, the CFSE values can be calculated. Okay, let us consider D8. So D8 in a weak field ligand, the electrons is filled like this. In weak field ligand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8. This is weak field ligand. In case of strong field ligand, EZ and T2Z, strong field ligand, this is strong field ligand. In case of strong field ligand, this is weak field ligand. In case of strong field ligand, the electrons must be followed. The electrons must be filled in case of T2Z orbitals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and after that 7, 8. Okay. See, in case of strong field ligand or weak field ligand, same configuration can be observed. So earlier we discussed that in case of D1, D2 and D3, D8, D9 and D10, so there is the arrangement of the electrons must be same, whether it may be in of strong field ligand or weak field ligand. Okay, so now, so here the CFSE value for these two cases is same. Okay, so here 6 into 0.4 minus 6 into 0.4 plus 2 into 0.6. Okay, so that is CFSE values. Let us consider tetrahedral complex. In case of tetrahedral complex, the ligands may be approached in between the axes so that dxy, dyz, dzx gains more energy, and dx square y square and dz square and lower energy. Okay, because the ligands approach between the axes, so here repulsive forces is greater in case of dxy, dyz and dzx, and dx square y square and dz square, so the repulsive forces is minimized. So okay, the 5 degenerate orbitals is splitting like this. Okay, so here it has more energy and it has lower energy. And now in case of dxy, dyz, dzx, the CFSE value is considered as a plus 0.4 in tetrahedral complex, and the value of EZ orbitals must be considered as a minus 0.4 delta t, sorry, minus 0.6 delta t. So because here dx square y square dz square orbitals energy is decreasing by the value of 0.6, and this orbitals energy is increasing by the value of 0.4 delta T. So this is in the case of tetrahedral complex. In the case of square planar complex, and here the square planar complex can be expected by using a octahedral complex. The ligands on the z-axis is removed. When a planar complex, it forms square planar complex. Okay. So now when the ligands is removed on the z-axis, so now dz square and dzx, dyz has lower energy, and dx square y square dxy has more energy because there is repulsive forces is minimized. Okay, it can be split into, so dx square y square and dz square, and this is 3 orbitals. This is considered 3 orbitals. This is 2 orbitals. This is dxy, dyz, dzx. So now when the ligands is present on the z-axis is removed, and now dx square y square energy is greater, and after that dxy, and after that so dyz, dzx has same energy. Okay, so dyz, dzx has same energy, and after that dz square. The way of splitting of the orbitals can be occurred in the presence of square planar complex. So in the case of square planar complex, the ligands are removed, the z-axis ligands are removed. So when ligands are removed in the z-axis, obviously the repulsive forces on the z-axis is decreases, so that when repulsive forces is decreases, it minimize the energy. So dyz, dzx and dz square has minimum energy, and whereas dx square y square dxy has more energy. Okay, so let us consider that pairing energy. What is pairing energy and how the pairing energy is in relation to CFSE, we will discuss now. So pairing energy is nothing but the energy is required to pair up the electrons is called pairing energy. So CFSE value is greater than the pairing energy, so then electron will be accommodated against of Hund's rule. So this is easy orbitals and this is T2G orbitals. So this is easy and T2G orbitals. So all the electrons accommodated in the T2G orbitals. So this is against of Hund's rule. Now in the case of if pairing energy is more than the CFSE value, so then the electrons is paired up according to Hund's principle. Okay, all the 5 orbitals is accommodate one electron. So this is according to Hund's principle.